Hey guys, see what I got here. Working on this panel again. That's where the roof comes down and meets the rear quarter. Trying to kind of figure out what I want to do. I remember I had all this stuff right here was real weak and flimsy and crappy, and I knew I was gonna have to make a patch. Not real excited about that because I didn't really want to introduce any heat into this roof, but I'm gonna, you know, just make a small patch. It won't have to be structural right there, and I'll just tack it light, blow it, make sure I try to keep as much heat off of this area as possible. Try to keep from warping. I don't think it'll travel up very high, but I can't really weld all this stuff in with this big hole here and all that, so I'll go ahead and make me a patch that comes down and maybe butts up to this little guy right here. And so that's the plan anyway. And then I'll flap this back down and try to get it welded in, and that's probably what I'll play with today. So I'll bring you back when we start working on it. Hey guys, decided not to go back quite as far. This metal still seemed to be pretty good, so just taking this little piece right here out, and you can tell it's like freaking paper thin, so there's nothing. If I started trying to weld it, it just blew open and been horrible. So I'm hoping that this, and it looks like it's a little bit stronger, looks like it hopefully is full thickness. You can see that there's a little bit of rust still under here. I'm going to wire wheel that as much as possible, and yeah, you know, it probably runs up on through there, but what do you do? I mean, besides rip the whole roof off, and you know that's not gonna happen. So I'll clean as much of this as I can. I'm thinking maybe trying to spray something up under near here as much as I can, maybe to kind of coat that, some kind of rust killer stuff, and then I'll weld my little patch panel back over. Probably take a piece of paper and just trace this out, this little square here, or whatever shape that is. And all right, well, I'll bring you back when I start doing something. See you. All right, you can see here, just took me a piece of paper and put it over that. Use the pencil, gives you the darker areas where your patch needs to be. Then transferred it to that right there. All this is a piece of metal I cut out of the other part of the car somewhere. I'll clean it up real good. It's still solid. So yeah, I'll cut this little puzzle piece out and put it back in there. Pretty simple stuff. So all right, bring you back when I start doing some of that. All right, there it is, a little patch. I'm gonna spray some weld through primer on the back of it, and then spray weld through primer under where I cleaned the rusty. Let me pull that out of there. You can see I've wire wheeled all that up. Probably clean a little bit more in there, but yeah, then I'm gonna spray weld through primer on that. The weld through primer's got zinc in it, so it'll kill whatever residual rust is right there. Plus, when I start welding through it, you know, when this starts welding to the back side, it'll be protected. Because if I coat it with anything else, it's just gonna eat the coating off of it, and it's gonna be prone to have rust back there again. So, you know, so yeah, okay. Yeah, once I get that done and start putting some tacks in there, I'll bring you back. All right, there it is. I got the weld through primer back there. There's my little patch. Got the weld through primer on the back of it. Obviously not on the front side. And actually I'll probably wire wheel some of that crap off there. I weld through primer while it works. It makes it really a pain in the ass to weld. It spits and sputters and doesn't like it, and so I try not to get that stuff all over the place, because and when I'm doing plug welds, I'll end up scratching the stuff out of there, but or at least around the insides where I'm welding to. But anyway, most of you already know that. So yeah, getting ready to start tacking this in. So I'll bring you back when I get her at 3 or 4 or 5 good tacks in there. See you. All right, I got a few tacks in there. You can see here, I tried to blow, or actually it did blow through. And so I put this backer behind it. I'm gonna fill that in. I was afraid of that. This is just really thin. But I think the rest of this is going to go good. So if I can get that filled in without making this hole bigger, then I'll be ahead of the game. But yeah, just trying to get creative here and get something behind that little area. Luckily I have this to be able to get back there. So all right, once I get her sealed up, and I'll bring that back so you can take a look at it. See ya. Well, there it is. It'll be fiberglassed over. This whole section will have a pretty good coat of fiberglass. Yeah, that's gonna be way better. Nice and strong. So yeah, as good as I'm gonna get on that. Now I gotta flap this down and start getting it welded. Get some plug welds going. So I'll bring you back when I get all this all welded up. Hey guys, there it is. I haven't welded that tab down yet. I went ahead and cleaned out from underneath it real good with a 50 grit. Took it down to metal and replaced DDP with the weld-through primer, which, like I said, I hate, but it's kind of a necessary evil. So now I'll go ahead and tap all that back down. And one issue I've had, because this has been flapped up and it was already thin, it was already pretty rusted. That's why this little piece right here kind of went away, and I had to make a patch for it. But it was pretty thin up here, so it's like anything else, like a beer can tab or whatever. You flip it back and forth enough, it's going to start doing that number. So I'm really going to have to be careful, try to close that up and kind of tack weld that back together without trying to blow through, which is going to be damn near impossible. But I'm gonna give it a shot, and they said all this is going to be covered in hell, I could probably rip the tab off and go ahead and cover it in fiberglass, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this, because this much of it from here all the way around is still good. So literally, and I welded, I don't know if you can see in there, I welded beads this panel here to the inner panel under there. So yeah, could I go ahead and weld that shut? I could, but it probably put a lot of heat on this, and I don't want to do that, take that chance and warp it. So it's a little windy outside. Been raining, super humid, 70% humidity, so I thought I'd open up the shop and let it air out some. But yeah, I didn't realize it was so stinking windy, so starting to blow stuff off my shelves, and papers are flying everywhere. Anyway, okay, yeah, more progress, and I'll get back with you. See ya. All right, you can see that gap that I was talking about. So what I'm going to try, I don't know if this will work or not, but I'm going to try to use this as a heat sink, and so I just tape that up there, and I'm going to take some of this steel rod that I use to do other things with, and basically I'm going to run a magnet over here and kind of pop that down in there to bridge that gap, because when I heat it, it's going to melt away, but maybe it'll keep it from blowing a hole. The only reason I'm showing you guys this is because, with stuff like this, little experiments, this is stuff that I like to see if it works or not. That way, when other guys do it, I can say, oh, that didn't work, so I won't try that. So I try to take you along with me for all these experiments and the epoxy and the fish eyes and all that kind of stuff to kind of see, to save you guys from having the same problems I'm having. So yeah, I'm going to use this as a heat sink and then try to, do that, and I'll bring you back as I go, and we'll see how she works. See ya. Alright guys, I just tried something that I want to share. You guys probably been doing this for years and whatever, but it worked for me. So alright, I have all this wire that I've been showing you. Went ahead and put that wire in there, like I said, and it worked real well. Had the heat sink up, that worked too. Went ahead and pulled it away and kind of filled it in good, because I had the extra metal. Make sure I cooled it real good and everything in between. Well, then I had a couple little pinholes here and there, kind of like this one here, and so I thought, well, I'll just zap that real quick. Well, as soon as I did, it's real thin, so it just blew open. Well, blew open here, a couple of little spots. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to TIG weld it with the MIG. Kind of, basically, because you got so much wires, it's why I'm assuming this worked. But anyway, what I did is I took a piece of the wire, let me clip that off, and just took the end of it and bent it just a little bit to where I could just kind of stick it down in the hole. And then basically used it as my feeder wire. Stuck it down in the hole a little bit and then went ahead and lit up on it, and it basically just went right into the hole. I mean, it literally pulled itself into the hole with the metal and everything. Worked out really well. So a little excited about that because I've had problems blowing holes in this real thin sheet metal in the past, especially where it's been rusted from the inside. You know, if you got good solid sheet metal like that, you know, if you're blowing holes in it, then you're too hot, you need to turn it down. But stuff like this, man, you're just like welding paper. So yeah, adding this extra rod, it allows it, I guess, to cool it just enough to fill it in, and so like I said, just putting that in the hole and kind of just working it, man, it worked perfect. So you can kind of see what I got there. It's not pretty, but when I grind that down, it's gonna work. So, and again, this will be filled with fiberglass. But yeah, I got that done for the most part. Now I just need to go back and do my plug welds. So kind of give you an idea, just another, you know, another trick maybe if nobody's ever thought of that or tried it or whatever. But yeah, that worked out pretty good. Like I said, that was split pretty bad through there, so pretty flimsy, thin metal. So yeah, good repair now. All good solid metal. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So yeah, I'll grind that down and I'll start doing some plug welds, and that'll be it for probably for this afternoon. It's about 15 till 5. My wife will be getting home, wanting to eat dinner and stuff like that, so I'll probably upload this video, kind of give you an idea of what's going on. But the rest of this front's all done, and I got the inside of this panel, the inside down in here, down inside the door, welded. That was a pain in the butt. Let me show you that real quick. Probably can't show you down inside there, but literally I had to weld from inside this hole and weld down in there, and man, and luckily there's that hole, because otherwise you couldn't get in there. But you got to weld this panel right here down to this panel, so there's plug welds through there. I had to plug weld those, and like I said, that was a monster to try to get down in there. They're not pretty, but they're stuck pretty good. So anyway, there you go. Like I said, it's not pretty. I need to grind this down. I'm going to plug weld that, grind it all down, and then that'll be covered in fiberglass. Like I said, a lot of people lead these. I think Eastwood makes some lead now that you can do. I'm not familiar with how the leading works. I'm sure I could figure it out. Do I want to learn today or this week or whatever? Not necessarily. I know a lot of the new body shop, or a lot of the new ways, are just using fiberglass, because fiberglass filler is waterproof. It's strong as hell. So yeah, I'll probably fiberglass this, make it a little bit low, then go ahead and put me a coat of filler over that, and that'll be it, and then prime it, and then you'll have a waterproof, you know, coating basically over top of this. So yeah, all right guys, I'll talk to you later. See ya.